Welcome back to the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast. This is the first time we're doing a video podcast, and all of us are in very clearly different locations. Me and Ryan are not in the same house, and Rob and Sam are definitely not together either. Obviously, as you can see by Sam's background, which is much more lackluster than the rest of us. Um, looks like a shanty town. So, yeah, I'm Pat.
Shantytown.
I said I'm Pat.
I am the glorious Robbie Rotten. You guys probably haven't heard from me in forever. I'm not dead. I'm here. I'm alive. So it's good to be back.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm your D6 champion, Joey.
I'm Glenn Crawford.
Yeah, I'm Angela.
And so you've heard all of our voices before. Sam, you've heard out of all of us the least, but there's another mystery person in this video call who's just staring at you with the most high quality setup. And his name is, if you would like to share with everybody, buddy.
Hi, I'm Jake, here to bring you the worst takes of 2020.
Oh, yeah, brother. Hot Take Jake is joining the goddamn party. What a time to be alive. So this is the first time that all seven of us have ever even done something for Deep Six, ever. We've all done videos or podcasts in the past, besides Jake, no podcasts from him on our stuff. But regardless, this is the first time that we're all together. And I don't know the last time that we've all been together.
We have not been in the same room together since Deep Six has formed over a year and a half ago. So
yeah, I mean, some of us have been together, but the entire group has never been together since we started this. So
Did we do Mania together?
Nope.
This Mania we didn't do because of
Zoom.
we did a Zoom call, so we weren't actually together. So yeah, and then the closest thing would have been the Royal Rumble earlier this year, but Ryan was not there.
Nope. That made everybody's lives difficult.
Yeah, apparently. So, bear with us. We're on a Skype call. We're not sponsored by Skype, but we wish we were. So, Skype, if you want to sponsor us, thanks. And if not, Raid Shadow Legends, we're still waiting. Or Blue Chew.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Or that thing from the New Japan shows.
oh, Gekiochi's doing, yeah.
Yeah. I'll take that.
True. It cleans everything.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, I hear.
Yeah. So back in June, June, we did our mid-year awards. This was a much smaller scale thing. It was basically, I think this was like our 50th episode of the podcast special. I don't remember what exactly it was. It might have been 100.
No, it wasn't 100. Maybe 50.
Yeah, maybe. But we did a mid-year award special where we went over our best and favorite things, or best and least favorite things, I should say, in wrestling. But we've expanded the list to be much more expansive, so that should be fun. And this podcast will probably be a long show. I think we're all expecting that, so we're in for the long haul. Hopefully everybody has water, and Sam has a controller in his hand of some sort.
I actually have 91% isopropyl alcohol instead of water.
Has that been prescribed by your doctor?
You don't chug it.
I think it's non-prescription, but I was thinking it could be prescription if I mix it with this Lysol. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it really cleans out the body.
Chug it.
Does anybody have H2O too? I hear it's the sequel to water.
No.
Finish your punishment and chug it.
Yeah, cancel all your punishments.
Yeah, honestly, we should have just made this a podcast where people had to do their punishments. Ryan could have done his reviews for his WWE Studios movies. Angela, you've done like 5 karaoke songs.
Yeah, surprise! We got you here just to do your punishment.
I wish. One day the will happen.
Sam, we're currently delivering your food for your mukbang.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh, we should have done that. Anyway, someday.
I got a strong case, but it gets the job done.
Oh my God, he needs to get out of here. So we're just gonna get started here. Joey, you're the champion, so I'm gonna ask you. You're gonna go. You're not gonna go first, but you can pick which award we give out first. Out of what we have,
what?
I said out of all of the awards we have, you can choose what we're doing.
Let's start with the worst merch. Worst merch.
Worst merch is what you want to start with?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm gonna slightly override this. We're just gonna do best because I have them up in a slideshow already. And it's best first how I have it. So we're just gonna do best and then worst, but we'll do merch first.
Fucking
Um,
on me, man.
I'm sorry, it wasn't my intention. So
Alright,
I'm gonna try and screen share, so it should take over my thing here, so everybody can see what merch we did. Can we see what I have up here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's here.
Okay, so this is my pick for best merch. I think this is
It's pretty
a
cute.
fantastic, adorable shirt that I could wear out in public and not be ashamed of it. It's
That was like my
best-
third favorite shirt of this year.
I never saw that before.
The best friends in Orange Cassidy have some of the best shirts in wrestling. So I am going 100% with the best friends for this one.
I'll drink to that.
So that's my pick. Up next we have this, which was chosen by not one but two people.
Yes.
Never
So-
saw this either.
It would be our best friends in the group. It's Jake and Ryan chose this.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
So I don't know why Ryan picked this one, but I'm a big Gundam guy. So I saw Kenny Omega did like a Gundam Transformers type shirt, so I had to pick it. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
The only
fair.
one I saw that had a robot on it.
I went the opposite way. With how like Jake says he's a big Gundam fan. I like the Transformers. And it's called Omegatron is the name of the shirt. So I was like, oh, it must be it's like a Transformer type shirt. It's got like the big old Japanese letters all across, so it's got like a little mix of everything. I think it's a very, very cool shirt. And you've got the one-winged angel thing in the middle. Thumbs up.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Next up, we have. Okay, here we go. Who chose this one? Would you like to speak?
Oh, is that a picture of a no symbol? Meaning there are no shirts that I like? Explain the why behind my choice.
What?
Because, listen, I have a very strong liking to comfortable shirts. If many of you know, I wear the same shirts every day, basically. I have a cycle of like 5 shirts.
Yep.
Especially like the Def Leppard. my
Def
favorite
Leppard, Devil Wears Prada.
So yeah. So like I tried to purchase some wrestling shirts over the years to add to that rotation, but the problem is these major companies, and I will throw AEW and New Japan in there. Want to just make these shirts just on mass produced, so it's cheaper to make them with less expensive ingredients, materials. So they come out with these shirts that are like, how do I say, screen printed? I don't know. I'm not a shirt maker, but they're all like, it feels like there's just a logo slapped on there. You know, if there's something on the front, it's all wavy. So that's why I don't have a selection for this. I don't have.
Counterpoint, Pro Wrestling Tees, and WWE Shop both have plenty of selections that are softer materials. So
Counterpoint.
just say,
WWE raised their prices on their shirts and charge way too much for shipping.
they're actually not at 30. They're at $27.99, which is still too
Oh.
much. But Pro Wrestling Tees is also too much. They're all too much.
Yeah, I
It's a
would
t-shirt.
agree. All right, next up, who do we have? We have this one. Who's this?
Oh, let me use the there. So
Raise their hand.
it's Orange Cassidy wearing a shirt of Orange Cassidy with a picture of Orange Cassidy shirtless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like all of Orange Cassidy's merch, and Pat said
That
it
just
too.
really fits you. That really fits you, Angelo.
His other
It
new
does.
shirt was.
I don't
really
own
good,
this
too.
one. I own the first iteration where it's just him like staring into the sky. So I do like the Orange Cassidy shirts.
Yes, agreed. Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends have some of the best merch out there.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Oh, it's me. I just think it's a really cool shirt. The artwork looks really good. WWE is definitely known for putting out some questionable merchandise. And this is not one of those pieces. I would 100% wear this. There were a couple other things I wanted to pick also, but this is the number one for me, definitely.
Yeah, I will say this was also on my short list. This came out back in the summer. Just a really cool design and something you don't really see from WWE. So, big
I also
fan.
appreciate that it doesn't say Dexter Loomis like 3 times on it or have a design on the back either,
I
so
agree.
that
And
helps.
also worth noting, it was designed by Dexter Loomis himself,
Yes,
the app
definitely.
painter. So, good pick on this one. And I believe this is last but not least.
Oh, Johnny Hungy.
Is that all you have
Meat
to say?
Man
Just
himself.
Johnny Hug?
Yeah, the Meat Man
Is
himself.
there a
I mean,
story behind this shirt?
Yeah. Oh well, you see, yeah, Jake. As you're all going to learn throughout this podcast, Jake does not watch wrestling that often anymore.
I haven't
Jake,
really watched since like May.
Jake, if the pandemic never happened and you and me were at school together, and I forced you to watch wrestling with me, this man would be your new favorite wrestler. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
It's John Silver of the Dark Order from AEW. He had a feud with Orange Cassidy. I think you really would have loved it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Johnny Hungy.
Johnny Hungy, indeed. All right. So that is our best of shirts. Now we move over to the worst of.
Wait, this is like the best shirt I've seen so far.
Joey, you get to go first on this one, buddy.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
It's meant to be bad.
But
It's a joke.
But it's the fact that they're selling it for like almost $30.
I would wear this if it were black.
Scamming
No,
everyone.
it's too much money for just
I
this.
would wear that.
That's a good point, Joey.
I can design that.
Yeah.
The price point doesn't make
Just
sense.
to be a joke,
that are
don't put it on the shop. That's
makes
my
shirts
opinion.
like these.
If this was like $15, I could see it.
No,
I
it
would
needs-
$5,
it needs to
I
be
can
$1.
see it.
All right. Anyway, I am Sam Zane. Up next, Rob, you're up, buddy.
Just look at that. Like, what is this?
Who
Who designed? I want to know who designed. The whole line of this, by the way, is equally awful. It's just like, I want to know who designed this shirt. This little guy right here. I was like, yeah, that looks great. Like, come on. A lot of thought was definitely put into this too. I don't know if anyone has seen the actual commercials they have during the WWE
Dude,
events
it's
where the
Yeah.
superstars are kicking and beating up 2020 only for this thing
Oh yes, those
to
were
show
awesome.
up and hit it with like a power bomb. I want to die every time that comes on.
it's so bad.
So
Yeah,
that
those
is
were
why
awesome.
this is my pick for the worst merch item of the year.
Yeah. When I asked everybody to send me their picks last night, me and Rob talked about this briefly, but I was in the same boat. I almost chose not this shirt, but I almost chose one of the 2020 ones where it's him as a germ. They're all just real bad. So, Angelo, you're up, buddy.
Ooh. So yeah, this isn't a shirt, but it's in pretty poor taste, especially with the timing. So they WWE put this up for auction, a Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder custom signed plaque from like when they won the belts at WrestleMania, like a week after they got released. So I'd imagine they didn't see a goddamn penny of it. So I thought that was fit for the worst merch item.
Funny.
Oh, are you the one that bid
Never
$320 for it too?
Yeah, and then were you the one that outbid me?
Yeah, it was me.
Damn.
I was very happy that somebody went outside of the box with merchandise
Yeah,
here and
definitely.
went with something else. We also have something else a bit later on that is not a T-shirt, so you'll see that. This was my pick. I remember sending this in the group chat when it first came out. This is literally just two rectangles on a shirt on the front and back, and the front isn't even centered, and it literally looks awful. It just says the Disciple Murphy, and then on the back, you can't even see it, but it says Murphy's Law. I think this would have been a better shirt if they used Comic Sans. This is
Honestly, I don't think this one's like terrible. It's like not good.
okay. But again, the point is that you're spending $30 on this, but by the time it's done, and like this doesn't look professional. It's just like I just don't like it. But that's my personal pick for this. I just think my other option was a Robert Stone shirt from NXT, who I forgot existed until I was looking at WWE Shop. So, Up next.
So,
What? No
So-
way. That's real.
you'd think this might be like a Bobby Fish or an Undisputed Era shirt. Nope, not at all. This is a Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne shirt.
What?
Oh
Nowhere
my
on
God.
this does this make you think that you are wearing a Broserweight shirt.
That's a good pick.
Like if you're going out in public with this and somebody's like, "Oh man, what's this about?" Oh, this is the Broserweights guys. Who are they? Are they fish cooks? No,
Are
they're
they-
two
Are they
wrestlers.
fishermen?
None of them are Bobby Fish, but you've got this.
I love it.
Yeah, whatever takeover was, whatever one started the year. I don't remember what the first takeover was the year, but the Broserweights came out on a golf cart, and they had like a Titantron where it was Matt Riddle singing this as like a song. That could have been on shortlist for worst segment of the year. That
I
was.
forgot that happened.
I don't know why the quality is so low on this one, but Sam, you're up again.
Oh, right. So you might say, "Oh, that merch doesn't look good. It looks just like Sting." But that's the problem. It's Sting on it. The man who retired a couple years ago, quote unquote, and has just come back to be an old man in a major promotion and get the main event spotlight. Now, I'm going to refer to his cases right now as to the one with Goldberg. And we know how much I hated Goldberg's multiple now runs in the WWE of him coming back. So now they have this person who already retired, who lost, who was, praised for his wonderful career, just show up on another promotion, just, obviously, oh my God, it's Sting.
It's Sting!
I don't care anymore. And I know there's people out there that are doing the same impression that you just did there. And I'm sure Tony, whatever his last name, Chia Pet, is like, yelling Sting at, every time he comes out, but I don't want to see it. And I don't want to see the merch. That's why it's on this list.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we're going to hear varying opinions on Sting tonight. So this is an interesting way to start off. And last but not least, finishing us off.
Oh my!
Ew.
So
That's hot.
Is that a blow up
this
though?
so on my list, I wrote WWE Halloween costumes in general.
Oh,
This is
yes,
just one of the
Jake,
worst
I remember
ones.
We talked about that.
That
Yeah,
is-
Uriah
that
and
is
Joey
hideous.
had talked about this one night. I was showing them. I almost put there's inflatable John Cena gloves where it's just big fists, and there's also like a giant fire extinguisher and belt. But I really think that the Daniel Bryan one is the most terrible. Just look at that face. Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad I know this exists now.
Yeah, this eventually after the pandemic, this might have to be bought as a punishment item.
I'm definitely buying that for myself to wear every day.
Oh, good. Yeah, please go to work wearing that.
Yep.
Oh my God. All right, so that does that. We are done with that award.
Thanks
Yep,
for
we're done. Thanks for
Good
joining.
picks.
That was the whole podcast. Was just that.
We're just getting started, baby.
Just
This
getting
is why
started.
we're more prestigious than the Slammies.
More prestigious than the Slammies and the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Everything. We beat them all.
Definitely than that.
And the year-end awards for Impact.
That's true. All right, so we're
I'm
gonna
gonna do something that I wouldn't normally do. I will send my condolences to Dave Meltzer on the loss of his mother.
Oh yeah,
So-
that is.
Truce now with Dave Meltzer.
Wow, that's hell is frozen.
Classy.
Yeah, almost as classy as Freddie Blassie.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna take this time, since we did a non-actual wrestling award, since it was merch. We'll go over and do everybody's best weekly TV show. This should be a quick one. Don't have to spend too much time on this one. Best weekly show. I'll start off. I chose AEW Dynamite. Pretty fair, pretty straightforward. Consistently throughout the year was the most entertaining for me. Ryan, you can go next.
Yeah, I'm going AEW Dynamite as well. Same reasons Pat said. It was the most consistent throughout the year, I thought.
Joey?
Same. AEW Dynamite, hands down.
Right, Jake.
I said AEW Dynamite. I tried to watch Raw this year, and honestly, it was unwatchable.
Yeah, I agree.
To be fair, Raw is 3 hours, and that makes it much harder than watching AEW or SmackDown or NXT.
SmackDown's not much better, and they killed 205. So
Rest in peace, 205. Me and Jake used to be 205's biggest fans.
Yeah, but you aren't immortalized on the WWE network
That is
for
true.
205 Live.
Go to 205 Live in person. Rob, you're up next.
Definitely main event. No, it's Dynamite.
Main event. Angelo.
AEW Dynamite.
And let's see, does Sam buck the trend and choose Raw? Sam, you're up.
Dynamite.
There you go.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep for Dynamite. All right, let's see. Let us go with best feud of the year. Rob, you can start us off for best feud.
Oh, okay, good. This one's probably not going to be on many people's lists, but I really enjoyed Golden Ace versus the Dangerous Tackers, mainly over the New Japan or the IWGP Tag Team titles. Really enjoyed it. I thought there was some really good chemistry, had a lot of good matches, and just I really enjoyed that feud.
I like it. Let's go with Angelo. What'd you pick?
I forgot this was a category, but good thing this is a category because I wanted to choose something related to Orange Cassidy versus Jericho. So this is perfect because they were hilarious all summer.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I'm glad you had an answer still. Jake, what did you choose for this? I'm interested.
He's muted.
Okay. So you actually didn't send this one, but I also chose Orange Cassidy versus Jericho.
Okay, cool.
The Mimosa match.
Yes, the Mimosa Mayhem match. All right, we'll go to Sam. Sam, do you have this answer?
No, but I'll agree with them.
All right. I didn't the same thing.
I did see that match and it was good. So
that is true. Yeah, you were there. I forgot. All right, let's see if anybody else chooses this match. Or you, Joey. What do you have?
I actually have John Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW title. I thought they had really good segments and promos with each other, and it felt like very real and personal, and not scripted or anything. It just, they really just had history, and I just really liked their feud. A really nice blood feud.
I will hop on here as well and say I also chose Eddie Kingston versus John Moxley. For how short of a time Eddie Kingston was in AEW before this, they really built him up. I thought very strongly, made him feel like an important person, and made it feel like his feud with Moxley was a blood feud, where it kind of felt like, yeah, maybe Eddie Kingston will win the title. And the match they had was also really hard hitting, good hardcore match, and it felt like it culminated. So Ryan, you can finish us off on this.
All right. So continuing with what I had for my mid-year, it is
Yes.
No, God.
No, it's Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. The promos were fantastic. You could definitely tell the two really cared about the work that they were putting in. And the matches, while they weren't everybody's cup of tea, like they weren't the greatest matches of all time. They're not the best matches in AEW. They weren't Moxley's best matches, but they were very well crafted. They had really good storyline implications. And it was more than just wrestling. It was a whole package, which it feels very rare in at least major promotions that they craft something this well done. I do have to say though, going off of what Rob said with the Dangerous Techers and Golden Aces, that was on my short list. So.
Yeah, the series of really amazing tag matches, so I would agree with that one. All right, and we'll go since a nice transition from tag team wrestling. We'll go. What was everybody's favorite tag team of the year? The best tag team of the year. Who hasn't started yet? Sam, who was your best tag team of the year?
Tag team of the year is the Best Friends of AEW.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Joey.
I agree with Sam. Actually, I also chose
All right.
best friends. Originally it would have been Omega and Hangman, but I just really think that best friends really just like killed it on Dynamite, and I don't want to say carry Dynamite, but they really showed like what they were all about, and they were really consistent. And I thought for minus the Bucks and Omega and Hangman, they really carried that tag division throughout the year.
I agree.
Yeah. Rob, who do you have?
I stuck with my mid-year with Page and Omega.
Okay. Ryan, who do you have?
I have the North, Ethan Page, and the Walking Weapon himself, Josh Alexander of Impact Wrestling.
The Walking
Okay.
Weapon. I am joining Rob. I chose Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. I kept them from the mid-year point. I thought that they continually, until their split, delivered some great tag team wrestling, and not even just the wrestling, but the segments they had as well. Angela?
I'm going with FTR, even though it's only really their second half, which is phenomenal, but I think that's enough for the
Okay.
year.
Jake?
I chose the original best friends, Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, the Iconics.
Yes!
There's no way they'll ever break up.
Jake, did you
Say
know
that if you haven't seen the product since May.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure you knew that they are no longer a tag team.
Excuse me?
Oh,
Wait, you didn't actually know?
No, you did tell me, but I really wanted the bit.
Okay. Good.
Yeah,
good.
they broke them up so Peyton Royce could have a new tag team partner.
Yeah, she's now with
Yeah.
Lacey Evans, and Billy Kay is on SmackDown by herself.
Trying
Yeah.
to get a job.
Yeah, okay, there you go. All right, we will go over to, we're going to do another best of worst of here. We're going to do our best gimmick and our worst gimmick, but we're going to start with worst gimmick to make up for not starting with worst merch since Joey chose to start with worst merch. So I'll start us off. For worst gimmick, this is the only thing I have that is a tie. I'm giving a tie for this one because I just felt like if I said one WWE thing, it would feel like I was just ragging on WWE this whole podcast. So my worst gimmick is a tie between Retribution and Master Wato from New Japan. I think they're equally pretty terrible. Retribution is offensively bad, and Master Wato is one of the goofiest things I've ever seen. And if this man stays in his blue pajamas with his blue hair, his that's my prediction. So that is my pick for worst gimmick, a tie between Watto and Retribution. Jake, who did you have for worst gimmick?
So for worst gimmick, I wrote WWE getting rid of first and or last names.
Oh, sure, okay. I mean,
I'm still not over Otis Jozovic becoming Otis.
well, he's now the blue collar brawler.
That's even worse, but I don't forgive them.
They changed
Okay.
his name?
Well, he went from Otis Dozovic to Otis.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Tucker Knight to
did-
Tucker.
Yeah, it was
And
just
they did
tough.
it like Matt Riddle. It's just Matt, right? Something
No,
like
No,
that.
it's just Riddle.
Or just Riddle, yeah.
Riddle,
So I think
Riddle
that's like
just
That's
bad.
terrible.
Rob, what did you choose for worst gimmick?
It's Big Swole.
Big Swole.
It's Big Swole.
I'm
There's nothing there.
glad you keep it consistent. That's what I like. Ryan, what did you choose?
I chose the way to the Grand Master himself, Master Wato. It's a stupid gimmick. It's everything about it is trash.
Like, I did consider Watto and I did consider Retribution, but it's Big Swole.
Understandable. I mean, to be fair, Rob, you do watch AEW, or at the time, I feel like, I mean, I know you've slowed down on wrestling this last couple months, but for the majority of the year, you watched AEW a lot, and Big Swole was there more than
Mhm.
Wada and more than.
Yeah.
Understandable. Joey, what did you choose?
Yeah, Retribution, hands down. Yeah. Slapjack, was it T-Bar, Slapjack, or whatever? Yeah.
Mace.
Or Slapjack, Mason Reckoning,
Good for
Mass.
what's her name for getting out of it.
Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah, good for her, honestly.
I
Yeah.
thought they had potential, but then they just didn't do anything except lose.
They lost.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they just started jobbing out.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
hey,
well.
at least they're beating that world championship contender Ricochet.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
true.
Sam, what did you choose for worst gimmick, buddy?
The man himself, Dr. Luther.
Oh,
He just goes to the ring and goes,
Wow.
and it's
What
like,
a
oh,
hater.
there he
What a
is.
dude.
And dude, what is he, like 50-something years old?
The same age as
He's
Jericho.
born in AEW Dark. Do not disrespect him.
yeah, Pat's gonna have words with you.
After this, then we might have to have a stern talking. Chaos Project is the best tag team. Last but not least, Angelo, what did you choose for worst gimmick?
Superman Rich Swann coming back from career-ending injuries after 2 weeks, and then another career-ending injury, and then coming back the next week. So that'll
You
do
put
it.
some respect on the champion, all right?
Good.
His knee and ankle and everything is just unstoppable.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so that is our worst gimmick. Now we'll do best gimmick. Angelo, I'm going to ask you to start for us. What do you have for best gimmick?
Yeah, of course, it's going to be Japanese wrestling legend, Hone Mania.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Luther, Japanese deathmatch legend Luther.
No, but they might have wrestled Hanma at one point, like 30 years ago. I mean,
is
diving headbutts in 2020 and pretending to be Hulk Hogan is just about the best thing that could happen.
That's the way to Angelo's heart.
Yeah, really. All right, that's all.
That's all. Hanomania, baby. All right, Sam, who did you choose for best gimmick?
Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
He fooled
Is that a
me.
gimmick? Does that count as a gimmick?
Yeah, Orange Cassidy
Yeah,
counts as a
okay.
gimmick.
Definitely.
This whole
He
thing.
doesn't actually act like that in real life, I hope.
Jake, what did you choose for
I
best
hope he
gimmick?
does.
I chose Adam Page's drinking problem.
Okay, that's also that's fair. And being alcoholic is yeah
That's a
It was
real
definitely
That
issue.
more
was-
fun in the first half of 2020.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. So okay, I'll take it. Rob,
The other Japanese legend, Mr. Toru Yano.
that's
Love it. I
You
love
guys are-
everything about that man.
You guys are choosing the wrong Japanese legends.
Nope.
Is he the one that runs around with his DVD?
Oh.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty good.
So he's got the tape. He's taping up all his opponents.
Oh.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
that man.
You want to do that again, Angelo? You want to make that noise for us?
No, it's already on the recording.
That's right. Joey, what is your best gimmick of the year?
Fine?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dude. It's the Meat Man. It's the Mustard Boy. It is John Silver himself, okay? I don't know what his gimmick is, but whatever it is, it's John Silver.
Okay. Ryan?
The greatest part of Impact Wrestling, Johnny fucking Swinger.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I like that.
Do you have anything to add about Johnny Swinger?
Yeah,
Hidden gem. I never heard about him till this year.
Yeah,
What's
he's
that?
a TNA original.
ECW original.
Yeah, ECW original. He never had this gimmick back in the golden days of those shows, but he's got the greatest gimmick ever. He's just the epitome of what a bad old class wrestler is.
Yeah, he's like a delusional uncle trying to pick up chicks. It's incredible.
Yeah. And he helped make Impact's non-wrestling portions of the shows since me and Angela started watching them weekly. Super entertaining. And I'm sure we'll hear back from Johnny Swinger in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. I think I know. What that is.
Yeah, sorry guys. I forgot to tell you Johnny Swinger's coming into the call.
Oh boy. If only we
Oh,
could
daddy.
pull that. That would be something. I'll finish this out here for best gimmick. I did not choose John Silver, but I did choose the Dark Order as a whole. Their rise in 2020 from just being the goofy, dark pervert people in AEW who put on people, to being the greatest comedy people in all of wrestling. Truly one
Did
of the
their
great.
commercials start this year?
No, that was last year, but
Okay.
I'm just saying their best gimmick was the entirety
Yeah.
of the order, and as BTE and Dynamite together, adding Brody Lee to the group, adding 10 and Alan Angels and Anna Jay, fantastic. Oh, and Cole Cabana. Great stuff. Big fan. Dark Order is the best faction in wrestling, in my opinion. So I'm giving them best gimmick. Ryan has apparently abandoned his station. I don't know where he is. There's just a blue screen with whatever his background is that I'm still confused about.
What are those?
I'm here. I stood up.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's our best and worst gimmicks of the year. Let us do.
I think this is where me and Joey should take over and do our best and worst commentary person.
Oh God.
No. There's
I mean-
enough awards already.
I can just cut in here and say Ryan chose Josh Matthews as the worst commentary person. Joey, did you have somebody you wanted to say for worst commentator?
Oh, Josh Matthews, dude.
Okay.
Get him out of here.
I mean,
Shouldn't
I
have-
would agree with
does not-
that. So
Yeah.
He
Well,
should not
okay.
have a job in commentary of any sport, anything actually. Even if it was just like cooking or something, or professional cooking or competitive cooking, he just should not just give this man a mic or whatever.
Also,
Because
the fact that he is
will
one of the
spike
head
hair-
producers of Impact and the head writer for the commentary team is beyond me because he's absolute trash.
Well, that explains why he has a job, is because he's a producer. You answered your own question.
Get rid of that job. Get rid of him.
Well, there you go. Unanimously, I think we're giving worst commentator to Josh Matthews. So, up next, we will. You know what? It's not the halfway point, which I was going to save this for, but since you mentioned commentary, we're going to give out the El Boomer Award. Halfway through this year, we changed our podcast logo to the purple and yellow luchador known as El Boomer. And we decided to start giving out Boomer of the Week awards on the podcast. And since Ryan was the one who came up with this, Ryan, you get to announce the winner of this award.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to our podcast, occasionally, or most of the time, we give at the end of that, like during the week, we'll throw in somebody who we nominate for, since we're not all on the same podcast. But one man ran away with the competition, and it is good old horny JR. He was nominated a whopping 8 times, and that's not counting multiple weeks where we just forgot and we're just like, yeah, let's just give it to him. He's past his prime. He is
my hero.
the first ever El Boomer, and
I'm
yeah.
sure he's going to get next year.
Hey, and Pat, remember, I told you what you have to do to the logo to celebrate this. You gotta, you gotta give him JR's black hat and then send it to him and see if he accepts it.
I'm sure he would love it. So that's the El Boomer Award. So next year we'll also have that, and hopefully it's Jim Ross again because he needs an award every year.
Hopefully he's not on commentary full time next year.
I think you're going to be disappointed. All right, let us go over to our. What do we want to do next? We'll do what's everybody's best pay-per-view of the year. I'll start us off on this one. I chose New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom 14 from January 4th and 5th of this past 2020. So that's my pick. Jake, what did you choose for your best pay-per-view?
I chose AEW Revolution because I think it was the only AEW pay-per-view I saw this year.
Okay. Angela?
Bound for Glory. Eric Young returned.
That's your reason for why.
Yeah.
Sam.
AEW Revolution.
Okay. Rob?
Wrestle Kingdom 14.
Joseph?
Wait, it's not Mania for Rob?
No, it's not Mania.
Wrestle Kingdom 14.
I thought you chose Mania.
No, we all turned him on to New Japan, and now he.
I don't even think Mania would, I don't know. I would pick another. I would probably have picked like Hell in a Cell or something else over Mania even.
TLC.
Okay.
TLC was actually really good.
Yeah, I've heard.
But-
Joey?
I'm going with Full Gear from this year, actually.
Okay.
Really
And-
like Full Gear.
Ryan, your last buddy.
I chose Wrestle Kingdom 14.
There you go. My runner-up was going to be NXT TakeOver War Games. That show was also very good.
War Games was really good.
And while we're here for worst pay-per-view of the year, Let's knock this one out of the park. Sam, you can start us off here, buddy. What was your worst pay-per-view?
WWE Backlash. 2 reasons. Two. It included the Sheamus Jeff Hardy angle, where Jeff Hardy was an alcoholic and Sheamus was trying to set him up with that.
Still a pretty good match.
Thought he did it. Yeah. And second point was that it was marketed as the the greatest match ever or whatever between Edge and Orton. It was a good match, but not the best ever or greatest ever.
Okay. Let's go to Ryan. What did you pick for the worst pay-per-view?
I chose WWE Money in the Bank, and my reasons are this. We had some of these matches are not pay-per-view quality matches. Bobby Lashley beating R-Truth in 1 minute and 40 seconds. That's not a pay-per-view match.
I'd pay $50 for that.
And I understand that this was the beginning of the Hurt Business stuff, which, to be fair, the Hurt Business have been killing it lately, from what I've seen. But to begin with, that's not how you start a faction, is by beating R-Truth in 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah, every faction should start that way.
The women's
Truth
match
is a national treasure. Damn it!
Was Bailey versus Tamina. It was not good.
It wasn't as bad as you would think it was, though.
And then we had the joint Money in the Bank match, which is after what happened with both Money in the Bank briefcases. I understand that the women's one was to, just give the title to whoever wins it because Becky was leaving, but that's stupid. And Otis winning. The men's Money in the Bank basically didn't happen this year. 2 men were murdered on live television where they were thrown off a building, yet that was retconned the very next night by them showing back up to work with no injuries. This wasn't a serious pay-per-view. So, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you are forgetting Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre's match, which was actually a good match.
Yeah, but one or two good matches doesn't make up for the flaws of this pay-per-view.
I'm not saying it makes up for it, but just note that there was at least one good thing on the show compared to everything else. But fair enough. Money in the Bank was also on my list. I did not go with it though. Jake, what was your review, buddy?
I'm surprised that nobody picked a Saudi show yet. I chose WWE Super Showdown.
Oh, well, I'll hop on here and say, as somebody who watched this entire show at 11 in the morning, because I didn't have class, I also have chosen Super Showdown, which featured one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, 2 of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life, in the form of the goddamn Mountain Gauntlet match, where The Undertaker showed up and walked in, chokeslammed AJ Styles after he was dancing with R-Truth, and won the match without taking his clothes off. And Goldberg squashing the Fiend. So great stuff all around.
Yeah, I think they should stop doing Saudi shows. But that's just my opinion.
They actually can.
I know, but they should.
Yeah, they should, but they can't and they won't because of this contract. Oh well. Saudi Mania, baby. Angelo, you're up. What was your worst?
Super Showdown.
Okay. Joey?
I'm going to also go with Money in the Bank, like Ryan said. And I pretty much share all his points about that. So, yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, Rob.
It was on my birthday that the worst pay-per-view of the year happened. And it was Super Showdown, which is way worse than Money in the Bank, because at least there were good matches on Money in the Bank. Though I agree that was probably the worst Money in the Bank match of all time. But Super Showdown was just awful front to back. So,
see, I didn't watch any of Super Showdown, so
it doesn't matter. You don't need to know it's the worst.
No,
yeah, it was bad.
I was told I had to have watched the things that I voted against, so I hadn't watched that, so it doesn't count. Also, I kind of forgot Super Showdown existed and thought it was last year.
Well, it was January 4th, I think. So it was.
Nope.
It was was it not?
No, it was after the Rumble, wasn't it?
It was February 27th.
Oh, you're right. I saw some weird stuff on YouTube today. Got dates mixed up.
Jake doesn't even know my birthday. Wow.
Mm.
You didn't invite me to the Super Showdown party.
I'm sorry.
All right. Next up, we will go with our the most 2020 award on here. Something that was a big 2020 event for wrestling, the cinematic matches. So we're going to do our best and worst cinematic matches. Sam, I see you yawning over there, so you're starting us off. What was your best cinematic match?
Well, like I think I really believe that the one I pick here, at least two other people have.
Okay.
I'm sure of it. So the worst cinematic match was the Viking Raiders versus the Street Profits at WWE Backlash.
Okay. I asked for your best, but I'll take the worst. So we'll start with worst then. So worst. So we're doing worst, everybody. Everybody got worst. So Angela, what was your worst cinematic match? Is Angela
I think he's muted.
Viking Raiders, Street Profits.
Yes.
There you go. All right, there's one.
So right.
Who else do I think might have that? Rob, I think you might have that. Am I right?
Yes. Viking Raiders, Street Profits, Backlash, definitely.
I will also put my name on this list because my other option was Big Swole and Britt Baker's dentist fight, which I thought was pretty lame, but at least that was quick. The Viking Raiders and Street Profits thing just continued going on and on and on, and just got
As an outspoken not fan of Big Swole, I think the other match was way worse.
yeah.
So.
This just had so much that didn't need to happen. There was like
Also, wasn't it not actually a match?
no, yeah, you're right. It wasn't. It was
It wasn't officially a match, but I considered it for my worst match of the year. But I saw that it was not officially a match, so I did not put it on that.
Well,
I'm going to add. I'll put my name on the list too. I was going to talk about how I only saw 2 cinematic matches, but I actually saw 3. I just blocked the basketball game from my memory, so
Okay.
I'm going to replace mine with the basketball match.
I guess you're talking about like the Raiders, Street Profits, like their weekly episodic.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is that what you guys were talking about? That's what I thought you guys were talking about.
No, they had a pay-per-view match, but I don't think that actually had a finish either.
No. Right? So basically, for weeks on Raw, the Viking Raiders and Street Profits played sports, and Jake is referencing the basketball game they had. They also did golf. I don't know what else they did.
Axe throwing.
Bowling. So, and then this all culminated on a pay-per-view where it was announced that there was going to be a tag team match for the Raw tag titles. And then that never happened. They started brawling backstage. Ninjas showed up in the form of Akira Tozawa speaking in Japanese with subtitles. Ivar used the Force to get a chicken leg. They fell into a dumpster where there was a monster. There was Vietnam flashbacks to different sports games, and the females calling Ivar cute. It was
sounds amazing.
It was one of the worst things I think I've ever seen in my life.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Okay.
I don't think you need to. I think you should.
You might want
to. Ryan, you need to finish this off here.
What about Joey?
Oh, Joey. Sorry, I forgot Joey was here. Joey, what'd you pick?
I forgot I was here. You know, the Deep Six champion. You forgot I was here.
I don't see a title. I don't see a title.
I don't have the title. I don't know where it's at. Someone had.
Oh, I know where it's at.
Oh,
well, I'm gonna go
because I'm gonna win it back.
I'm gonna go with NXT in your house, the backlot brawl with Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole, and I'm gonna choose this over the Viking Raiders and Street Profits because Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, I expected them to have a stupid match like that. On a takeover, like I thought this was like a production nightmare with this match. That's why I'm gonna go with that. And the only reason why this match is even good is because of Dexter Lumis. He saved this match.
Yeah, I remember we did a review for this, and I criticized the hell out of this from just making me nauseous with the camera cuts and also just not being able to see things. So, yeah, that would also be the one for the contenders list. Ryan, now you get to finish this off.
Cool. So I had two. I totally forgot about one of them. So my honorable mention is Hernandez versus Rhino on that random episode of Impact. It was like one of the first episodes of Impact me and Angela watched, where they just started brawling over a wad of money.
Was that not the pay-per-view?
No, it wasn't on a pay-per-view.
Okay.
It was just a random episode of Impact. And I was like, oh, this exists. Okay. But that wasn't the worst because the wad of money angle is continuing and it's never going to end. I'm sure that by the time Impact dies, the wad of money will have gone to another brand or another company at that point, and will
the wad of money has more value than the name of Impact Wrestling.
Yes, it's probably worth about as much. The worst is also in Impact Wrestling. It is EC3 versus Moose. EC3 was hyped up so much for this goddamn feud. This man put in no effort for this thing. He just got beaten the hell out of. And then Moose won. EC3 got carried off by like druids, like Undertaker style. And then EC3 is not an Impact anymore.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
And Moose has not changed his character one bit. Like, he just wears suits now instead of wearing his wrestling gear everywhere. That had nothing to do with anything.
Definitely very disappointing to see EC3 kind of just do that match and then disappear.
Yeah, and then he was supposed to be in Ring of Honor, and he had a match set up for Final Battle, and then he got the COVID.
Yeah, that's somebody who paid for that pay-per-view. Yeah.
I forgot about how bad that match was.
Yeah, I've tried to think about that one. That genuinely, that was also that. Okay, you know, I take Britt full off my runner-up list. That's my runner-up. That genuinely made me sad. That should have been.
I was expecting something to happen, but it was really just I'm Moose. I'm gonna just lay EC3 on this mat. I'm just gonna punch him a bunch of times.
Yeah, it was a shame.
And I think that match probably went 10 minutes too long. I hope the time limit was like 10 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Let us move on to most likely to break out in 2021. This could be an interesting one. Let's see. Who do I want to start with? Rob, you can start us off on this one, buddy.
You know what? I feel like mine's almost cheating because they kind of have already broken out. But this is as a single star. And I'm going with Big E. I think we're going to see some great things from Big E in 2021. He just won the Intercontinental title yesterday. And hopefully he drops that soon and gets a real title. So, yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. The IC title isn't a real title.
He's already been IC champ. I'd rather see him get a big boy title.
I always forget that.
Like the US title.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is the US champ, by the way?
Bobby Lashley still.
Oh, well, he exists.
He's killing it.
Ryan, since you have words to say, you're up next, buddy.
This is a two-part award again for me. Because they both have stipulations on them. I have Lio Rush only if he signs to New Japan full-time. If that doesn't happen, then it's going to be Ethan Page, but that's only if he becomes a singles performer and gets out of the North, which I'm pretty sure is happening. So,
I mean, Lio Rush is going to win the challenge, so he'll be a millionaire.
Let's go.
So wait. So Ryan, if neither of those things happen, then nobody is a breakout star next year.
I mean, then like I said, I'm pretty sure Ethan Page is on his way to being a singles person. So pretty sure that's at least that part's gonna happen. But if Lio Rush signs full time with New Japan, then that's happening. That takes precedent.
Okay. Sam, who do you have as your breakout star for 2021?
Darby Allin.
Ooh, that's
Okay.
a good one.
Yeah, well,
That's a good one.
Yeah, he could main event a show against the Stinger
yeah, I would be shocked,
and get
especially
buried.
He's right.
well, you see, Sting did do the AEW podcast this week, and he did say that he is in AEW not for regular matches, but for cinematic matches, as well as to help the younger talent. So, those are two things that I don't think you'll see from Bill Goldberg. So I would be confident that if Sting wins, it'll be in a cinematic match where he's not actually burying Darby. But I also would still assume Darby would go over.
All right, hear me out. They'll have a face painting contest. Who can paint their face the best?
Now they've got to paint their whole face, and Darby just can't because he can only paint half of his face.
And that's how this thing's going to get over. You're right. I mean,
Genius.
I like it. Jake, who do you have as your most likely to break out in 2021?
So I had a hard time with this because I didn't watch any of the product. So
Good.
I'm going to give our first CZW award, and probably our only CZW award.
I like it.
I have a friend who was supposed to debut for them this year, but because of COVID, it got pushed back. So I'm going to go with Son Azizi from CZW.
Oh, he changed his name?
Nice.
Yeah, I don't like the new name, but that's
yeah.
on him, I guess.
Well,
Guess
there
it
you
can only
go.
go up.
Shout out to a
Son
wrestler
of Yeezy?
one of-
Son Azizi from CZW. Shout out to CZW, Philadelphia's finest.
I might have to give mine to a future 2-0 champion.
Yeah.
Is that your pick, Matt?
No, that is not my pick.
Well, let's see your pick.
My pick is going to be the acclaimed. Just had a tag team title match against the Young Bucks on Dynamite. I think that they are a pretty safe bet. The fact that they put them so quickly in a tag title match on TV, I think it's a pretty safe bet that they're going to be positioned pretty well in AEW. So that would be my pick. Joey, that means you get to finish this out, buddy.
All right, so unlike Ryan's doubts, I'm pretty sure and confident to say that I think Leo Rush will sign with New Japan, and he will be huge for that division. And I think Leo Rush is going to have a hell of a 2021. And the fact that New Japan has already hyped him up with all those all those packages they've done for him and all the hype and stuff. So I really think it's all but announced that he's going to be signed to New Japan. And yeah, I'm going to go Leo Rush.
Okay. Fair enough. All right,
Pat,
so
you
we got
missed somebody.
who did I miss?
My hand is raised. So that's okay because I was going to pick the Pope, Elijah Burke, since I just found out this week that he won some TV title in NWA. So in October, so he's a champion, and that AEW collab, they're looking for all these little promotions to work with. Bring on the Elijah Burke versus Cody Rhodes. Let's see it.
You know what, Angelo? I'm going to stop you right here. Do you know how old Elijah Burke is?
I think he's 42.
Okay.
I mean, there wasn't an age limit on this.
Yeah, I mean that is true. He could be Lance Archer. I think Lance Archer's also 42, and is having pretty much the best run of his life. So who knows? Maybe the Pope is coming back. One can only hope.
I mean, he's back, just hopefully in AEW.
Yeah,
Impact's buying NWA, so we can get NWA TNA again.
Sounds good.
Put the Pope back on commentary. He'd be better than Matthews.
That's true. Yeah,
that's 100% true.
All right, we'll go down everybody. This should be towards the bottom of your list. Let's do best new theme music and worst new theme music. This should be interesting. I'll start us off for best new theme music. I'm going to choose Sting, the Stinger. I've made it pretty clear since this theme song debuted with Sting's debut that it's one of the biggest bops in wrestling. So, Sting's AEW theme is my pick for best new wrestling theme. Angelo, who do you have?
I'm pretty sure this occurred in 2019, the Chris Jericho's Judas, but with the pandemic and the empty arenas, it really picked up its own steam when his whole group would sing along. Sammy Guevara singing along to Judas. It was pretty incredible. So
That also good point about the singing. You had Sammy debuting his singing on the mic, but also on the Jericho Cruise, which was in 2020, was the first time the crowd sang along, and then
Right.
Revolution was when the whole crowd was singing in the full arena. So I'll give it to you. The crowd singing and Sammy Guevara singing Judas. I'll take it.
yeah, it picked up its own steam this year. I feel like.
I agree. Jake, I'm interested for what you chose for this, buddy.
I picked the song Just Drive, the theme song of Sunny Kiss and Joey Janela. That song is a vibe and a half.
I like it. Okay, there we go. Samuel Stort, what'd you choose? Remember, this is best.
What?
This is best music. Choose best, not worst. Okay.
Danny Jordan, her AEW theme.
Yeah.
I don't even know what her theme.
Yeah, okay. I can't explain how it goes.
Okay.
Papalula.
Yeah. What else did you have? You had the pictures of the merch, but we have the music. You can't listen to it.
Probably can't.
Look it up on YouTube yourself. Figure it out.
Shut down.
On that one pretty quickly.
Danny Jordan, DANIJORDYN.
Okay, sure. I'll
know
be sure to
who
listen
she
to the podcast. Rob, you're up, buddy. What'd you choose for best new theme?
Karrion Kross.
Okay, fair enough.
I love his whole entrance, his whole, presentation. His theme's great.
I like it. Joey, what'd you choose?
Ricky Starks is music. Yeah, just really like Ricky Starks.
Okay. And last but not least, Ryan?
I had a hard time trying to pick one. I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So we're doing best theme or worst theme?
Best.
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 Best. My best is Evil's Bullet Club theme, because I didn't think that. I think that Evil, when he was in LIJ, his theme was phenomenal. But I think that his Bullet Club theme is just as good.
Okay, sure. And then we're going to go over to worst new theme music. Sam, I'm going to toss this one over to you to start, just because I want to know if this is going to be another really random one like Danny Jordan.
It's also Danny Jordan.
So,
Best, worst, and worst.
Mainstream. I think the rest of my answers are pretty main. Anyway, it's going to be worst new theme music. Is Seth Rollins' The Rising. Yeah. I hate his new gimmick. I don't like it at all. And I think that it's just like weird choir music. His old theme was like, like a bop. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Angel. So, but like this is not, and I understand it's the character, but it still sucks. It could be a better.
I think Bailey and Seth Rollins should switch themes. I think their themes fit each other better. I'm not kidding. It just would.
To be fair, Seth is off TV now, being a dad.
I know, but I think when he gets back, they should just switch.
He should just come out to like what do you come out to Johnny D singing Bobby Shmurda. I'd like that.
Yeah.
No, he should come out to just the noises of Becky Lynch doing the.
Oh, okay, that's not where I thought he was going.
Giving birth?
No, she did
God.
a promo last year while she was shooting with Lacey Evans. Yeah, her and Seth were backstage flirting, and she just started going. Psh, 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 psh.
Oh, she beat. I thought that was beatboxing. No.
She basically just had like a stroke on camera, is what it looked like.
It went on for too goddamn long.
It was uncomfortable. Angelo, what did you choose for best or worst new theme music?
I can't remember many, but the one that sticks out to me is the Good Brothers on Impact. Kind of lame.
The I don't know how good the
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Eh.
Okay, fair enough. It's a step down from their WWE themes, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Joey,
Sorry.
he said the Good Brothers.
Gotcha, yeah.
Joey?
I'm gonna go with Billy Kay's Seduction.
Oh, you don't like the theme song where it says Billy Kay and then just a bunch of sexual moaning?
Pretty awful, actually.
Yeah.
I listened to it and I just thought it was too generic for me to like or hate it.
I thought it was okay.
I still just don't understand why there's just random moaning in it at points.
It's like, Billy Kay!
Yeah,
like
I don't
that,
know.
right?
It's a weird one.
Yeah.
Ryan?
It's like a bird.
Mm-hmm. Am I up?
Is Ryan, you gonna go?
Sorry, I didn't hear you say my name. My worst is Apollo Crews to the top,
Yeah.
where it says I'm on the top of the world right now. Talking about, and man, probably is as low as possible in the wrestling world. After he lost the US, he won the USLs, debuts this theme about how he's on the top, lost the title pretty quickly, and I don't even know if he's on the roster anymore because I have not heard that man's name since he had the US title.
He's still employed.
Well, go back to NXT, bud.
Following up on my worst merchandise pick, I've also chosen Buddy Murphy, or sorry, just Murphy, for worst new theme music. It's just generic and awful. It's no longer his dubstep theme from NXT. Yeah, very disappointed. This got my worst pretty easily. It was either this or Dominic Dijakovic before he became T-Bar with the random um, screaming of all hail, which I don't really understand, but he's not. Who is that? Chris Sabin has all hail Chris Sabin, so I don't know. But Buddy Murphy gets my pick for that. So yeah, let us go over to.
Whoa.
Oh my God, yo, I'm having so much.
I actually had to go out of my way to listen to a lot of themes because, like, I don't know. There's so many generic ones that I was like, these aren't that awful. And then I heard it. It's Otis's new theme. And
Oh,
it's
he
just
is-
like, oh yeah! Blue collar solid man! It's really bad.
I didn't know he
love
had
it.
it. So. My God.
Okay, wait. I can do you guys even better. I listened to every 2020 WWE theme to pick this, and I thought they're all pretty boring and inoffensive. This one, I'm pretty sure it's 2020. If not, they posted it to YouTube in 2020. And it's Hey Hey, the Miz and Morrison's theme. It's two middle-aged white men rapping.
You don't like, hey, hey, ho, ho, Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
It's two like
Miz
40-year-old white men rapping.
You're
It's
also missing
awful.
out on. You're missing out on the sequel they did when they were feuding with Braun Strowman when they made a song about Braun Strowman pissing himself as a child. I'll never forget about that. That was also really awful. But okay, I'm glad Miz and Morrison, hey, hey, ho, ho, is now immortalized on this podcast episode. All right, let us go over to do our best debuts of the year. Who wants to start us off on this one? I'm taking a volunteer. All right, Ryan raised his hand. Ryan, you're up first. Best debut.
I'm probably not going to be the last person to say this, but Sting. The just everything about the and like him showing up was phenomenal. And like I think we all knew that Sting was coming to AEW, but we didn't know when, we didn't know how he was going to do it. I think this just summed it up perfectly. Um, yeah, I feel like both of Sting's like two like debuts, him debuting in AEW and him debuting in WWE, are like top notch debuts.
Yeah, I'll hop in second because I also chose Sting, and I'll echo the same point as everybody in this group pretty much knows my love and admiration for Michael Cole's call of Sting's debut
Can you do it real quick?
in Survivor Series. Oh my God, it's Sting! Stinger's here!
Yeah.
That's how Michael did. But yeah, Survivor Series 2014, the men's match, easily still probably one of my favorite matches of all time. Great
That
stuff.
was- yeah.
Looking fantastic. And Sting's debut, very memorable. Sting's career in WWE after that was a bit questionable booking wise, and then obviously his injury in the Rollins match, unfortunately, kind of putting things to an end. But his debut here was also really cool. The lighting, the snow, and the amazing music. And it was just a really nice surprise, especially in the pandemic era, to see Sting return to TNT. So I'm taking Sting's debut as my best debut. We're going to go over to Joey. What did you choose?
Yeah, I also chose Sting's AEW debut. Like you said, we all knew he was coming, but I actually started to lose hope that he would ever just debut because for when I originally thought it was going to be at the pay-per-view, and then as weeks went on, I was like, all right, maybe he's not coming, and then there he was, and it kind of like surprised me genuinely, and good on him to because good on him to return because it sucks when a wrestler can't go out on his own terms, and we all thought his career was over, so good for him to have like one last run, and yeah.
Yeah. Let's go over to Sam. Sam, I see your face. You look pretty disappointed that 3 people have chosen Sting.
Yeah. Don't agree exactly. But I think the best debut of the year was Mr. Brody Lee, because seeing him he's way better off in AEW than he was in WWE. But his faction that he created really elevated AEW, added more to it, and got it more exposure.
Okay. Rob, what'd you choose, buddy?
Pat McAfee.
Fair.
More for his in-ring debut, because obviously we've seen him on TV before this, but he really blew expectations out of the water in the ring. Both of his matches were absolutely fantastic. So I hope to see him more in the future.
His War Games performance was top-notch.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he got fired on Christmas Day.
No.
Anybody who believes that, I'm sorry, but Ryan got worked by WWE apparently because this man was going off the group chat.
Fake
That's
news.
not what I did. What?
Colts legend.
Yeah.
How did I go off? How did I get worked into it? I literally just said, I'm glad that people are tweeting saying, I'm glad he's gone.
I mean, you did say if he got let go, I'm a laugh.
I'm a
It's not funny, man.
This man's out of a job, Ryan.
You're gonna
He has
laugh
to
during a
feed.
pandemic.
Hey man, remember he says that he's got 5 businesses that he's made $1 million in each of them. So I don't think he needs that. I don't think he's hurting for money.
Those allegedly shirts.
He got fired from all of them. Angelo, you're.
Oh damn! even his own show.
Mr. Brody Lee.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
two for Brody. I'll take it. That's fair.
I'm a big Luke Harper fanboy, so seeing him in AEW was great.
I agree. All right, so we have 2 for Brody, 1 for Pat McAfee, and 3 for Sting. Jake, you have the last deciding vote here. Is it a tie, or are you doing something new?
Now it's 4 for Sting.
Oh boy. Sting is gonna come to Sam's house with a baseball.
I think like Sting's his debut like
Ric
transcended
Flair's
AEW. Like I
He's
heard about it
always
not
ready.
watching the show.
That's true. It did incredible YouTube and Twitter numbers for them as well. So, yeah, I would agree. It definitely made the biggest impact, I think, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to go over to most improved and most disappointed. Pretty straightforward with what these are. Basically, what wrestlers were you most disappointed in or you think most improved? Apparently, Sam has left his house and is going to find Sting, so I will go
Look
to
at
Sam.
his nicely drawn house.
That's actually a good point, Pat, because I want to just remind you guys that Sting you saw in AEW is not the real Sting. This, you can't see it. Oh, you can't. Oh, this is the real Sting.
This is going
This
well.
is the only type of Sting merch I own because this is the only time that he was relevant and will be forever relevant. So he was so relevant they marketed him on a NASCAR car, but now AEW just wants to cash in like Money in the Bank and make money on their Stingers here and Tony Chiapet. Yeah.
All right, let us go over
Can
to
I
our.
change my best feud of the year to Sam versus Old Men?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll see more of it next year. I'm sure Goldberg will be back and
That's
Sting.
3 so far. Luther, obviously I mentioned Goldberg and Sting.
Yeah, let's see if there's any more by the end of the podcast. All right, most improved.
And Tony Schiavone, or Tony Chiapet, I'm sorry.
That's true, Tony Chiapet. Joe, you haven't started in a few rounds, so most improved.
Most improved. This was a little tough one, honestly. But I thought there was no other answer than the Dark Order. I think the Dark Order as a whole has really, really showed who they are this year compared to last year. Where they're pretty much nobodies, and this year they got what Cole Cabana, Anna Jay. They just Brody Lee. They kind of just evolved, and now they're like on the AEW Dynamite like every week, and they're like not as much of a joke anymore. I mean, they're kind of still comedy, obviously, but they've gotten more serious with Brody Lee. And yeah,
Yeah, I would interject to say, they did just come out as the good, the bad, and the hungry in the past 2 weeks. So it dressed as cowboys. So I would say they still have comedic parts, but yes,
yeah, of course.
they're treated less.
Future trio champs, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. If there's,
I'm gonna take next.
okay,
And
go for it.
at mid-year, I had the Dark Order, and I think for a lot of the year, I thought they were really good. But I think since I think they've kind of gone downhill lately. I really haven't been into them since the last couple of months. I feel like they've gone way too much to the comedic side, which I guess is fine for a lot of people. But I thought they were supposed to be, this imposing, you know, bad guy group, and now it seems like they're just a joke to me, at least.
Well, to
So
be fair, they are courting Page, and they have gone more babyface with him, Silver, and Reynolds. But I do think with Brody absence after his match with Cody in the dog collar match, they
yeah,
definitely gone more lighthearted. And I do think that will play a role whenever Brody Lee returns. I think he will probably have to put them back into shape how he wants. And if Page has joined the group by then, I think it's going to cause some division between Hangman Page and Brody Lee over the
yeah.
direction
I
of
just
Dark.
I haven't been into it since basically that time when Brody Lee disappeared. So for
Yeah, so
me, they definitely have fallen off a bit. But my pick is the Hurt Business because look at where all four of those men were at this point last year. MVP was not in a major promotion anywhere. Shelton Benjamin, jobber, if even on TV. Cedric Alexander, jobber, if even on TV. Bobby Lashley, embroiled in the worst feud of 2019 with Lana Rusev and Liv Morgan. And now they're all killing it. So, yeah, I think they're all doing a great job. Even MVP, who I've been outspoken as not a fan of in the past, is doing a great job in the manager position. So,
That's a good point. I remember how you've been vocal about your disapproval of MVP as a whole.
Does he still wrestle out on Raw?
no, not much. Every now and then, but no, not usually.
It's okay though. He's gonna win the world title from Drew.
Yes.
Please,
Hopefully.
hey, if Randy Orton can do it, then I think MVP and Mojo Rawley can too. So, Ryan, you can go up next, buddy.
Me, yay. Deonna Purrazzo, considering how horribly she was treated in WWE, with a whopping three wins and 21 losses over a 3-year span of being on the roster in some way, shape, or form. 3-21 on televised matches, with 2 of them being in the Mae Young Classic in 2018, I believe, and then just losing basically all the time. To being a 2-time Knockouts champion in Impact Wrestling. Yeah, her promo work is when she was debuting was real bad, but she's picked up on it. She's gotten better, and yeah, she's now basically the face of one of the faces of Impact, which is on the rise.
Okay, fair enough. Jake, who do you have for most improved?
So I put Orange Cassidy. I don't think he's gotten like better as a wrestler, but he's gotten a huge singles push. He wrestled Jericho pretty early in the year, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I think career-wise, Orange Cassidy's the most improved.
Okay, that is a good pick. From where he was last year to now, I would agree. Sam, what do you got, buddy?
Darby Allin again. I saw him a while ago at Six Flags Great Adventure, of all places, wrestling.
What promotion is that?
I don't know.
Northeast Wrestling.
There you go.
There you go. Oh yeah. Yeah, and then, to see him go to AEW, as not really a main event kind of guy, but then he did, especially this year, he wrestled in a main event picture for the title. So, breakout star, Darby Allin.
Yeah, I mean it was most improved, but yes, most improved. Yeah, there you go.
I can't read.
All right, my hero, Angela. What do you got for most improved?
So it's more career-wise, but MJF. I mean, I can't imagine AEW without him right now. Where end of 2019, I didn't care that much about him. So.
Yeah, that's a fair point. My most improved is going to be Yoshihashi from New Japan. Going into the New Japan Cup, Ryan, Joey, and Rob were told about my hatred for this man. How I think he's just the absolute drizzling shits in wrestling. And then he went out and had a really solid match with Hiroshi Tenzan, and then he got injured, and then he came back and was putting on great matches in the G1. He had a fantastic showing in the six-man title tournament. So Yoshihashi is getting my pick for most improved. I'm really looking forward to what he can do in 2021. I'm pulling for him in the New Japan King of Pro Wrestling Rambo at the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Kingdom. I think he can get into the Fatal 4-Way and maybe even become the King of Pro Wrestling. I'd be pretty satisfied with that for good old Yoshihashi. Sam, you raised your hand. Is there something you wanted to say?
Nope.
Really off topic, but I just logged into GTA 5 for the first time in a long time, and my yacht is called the Yoshihashi Express. So, thought you'd like that.
Thank you.
Nice.
I'm sure he appreciates it too.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go to the other end of the sword for this one, which is most disappointing. I'm gonna start us off on this one. I'm going with Kazuchika Okada in New Japan, staying over in Japan for this one. What an absolute horrible year this man had after the
Still
Tokyo.
had so many good matches.
He had good matches. Yes. Towards the end of the G1, he really came into his own, but the opening few nights, the opening half of the G1 for him was awful, with the goddamn money clip and everything. Just absolutely no. So Okada went from being somebody who I openly looked forward to watching wrestle to being somebody who I dreaded. So Rob, I'll go to you.
Aleister Black.
Oh, okay.
He started off the year, looked like he was going to be getting a pretty substantial push, and then he fell off a building for real, and he's been nobody. We haven't seen him really since. We saw him a couple times, but he lost most of his matches, and then he just disappeared from TV. And he's probably not going to be with the company much longer because his wife is no longer with the company, and she seems like she's going to be taking some action against the company. So, yeah, doesn't look good.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
point.
He's going to be really good in AEW, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's great. He'll be good wherever he goes. But I think he could have had a good career in WWE, too. So,
Fair. Sam, what do you got, buddy?
The Usos. Both of them. I think that, yes, they're in the main event picture, but they still were the Usos. Just like,
I mean, Jey Uso had 2 world title shots this year.
Yep.
At least.
That doesn't mean he was good. Well, man, someone could say the match.
Both of them were good.
He's good. Whatever one was the one that denied you the photo in the elevator, clearly they're not good. And we know, I mean, you guys know, you saw their one of their driving skills. You know they're not good drivers. Which most disappointed goes to both the Usos. Or either of them. You choose. It's up to you guys.
It's Jimmy.
Jimmy, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the Usos are Sam's most disappointing. Angela, who is your most disappointing performer of 2020?
For me, it's Sabu. He was a hero of mine when I was a child, and I've learned in 2020 is a pretty garbage human being. So I avoided.
Yeah,
So,
That's fair. That's actually fair. Yeah.
that is fair.
called Jordan Grace short and fat. I just looked it up to confirm. So,
Honestly, though, Sabu's Twitter is it's quite the ride. If anybody wants to go look at it.
oh, it really is.
Um, Jake, what do you have for most disappointing?
I chose Otis Dozovic. Pat knows he was one of my favorite wrestlers, and he spent this year simping really hard. So all I know,
What a simp, dude.
all I know is he's been simping all year.
He has been. He's been simping for
That's-
Mandy Rose.
That's a fair point. He did for Mandy Rose all year, and then he lost his Money in the Bank briefcase and his friend.
Yeah,
So,
he lost his best friend to simp.
yeah, that is true. I don't know if you know this, Jake, but Tucker really turned on him. He attacked him with the briefcase, and now Tucker's a bad guy.
And he also
So-
broke up Ryan's favorite tag team with
That's true.
Mandy and Sonia.
That is true.
That's a fair point. That's why I stopped watching.
I think you stopped watching before that, Ryan. So Ryan, I'll go to you next though. What's your most disappointing?
So for the longest time, since their debut, it was going to be the Good Brothers. Then they actually decided to start. Luke Gallows is barely mobile at points, but Carl Anderson really carries that group, and he's been fantastic the last few weeks on Impact. And now with the whole Kenny Omega, Don Callis joining Impact and creating this super elite, as Callis is calling it, I can't say that they're the most my most disappointment now. That man, that goes to Miro.
Yeah.
When he signed with AEW, I was so hyped. It's like, oh yeah, now we're gonna get that big old push from my boy Miro. This man, for 90% of this year, since he's been there, has done absolutely nothing except complain about Trent breaking his video game cat that he didn't even break. Stupid.
That's
Okay.
fair.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
Is that your most disappointing, Joe? Is Miro?
No, but he's on my short list. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. Remember, Japanese legend Shinsuke Nakamura.
I thought you said Luther.
I'm probably gonna go with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Hey man, Nakamura's been on my most disappointing list for pretty much the past few years. Since he basically, ever since that
I want
AJ
him to go
Styles
back
film, he's
to-
just been downhill.
I think
from
I
there.
want him to go back to Japan. I think he would.
I would love for him to go back to New Japan to finish out his career. I don't think he will. I think he's just going to take the money and retire nicely, where he doesn't have to work too hard in WWE. So he still has a legendary career in New Japan, though. So if you want more Nakamura, just go watch that. But unfortunately,
I
that's
feel
not
like
what we
people
have.
tend to forget how good he actually is.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I mean,
Again,
their whole group was really bad this year, right? The Sami
Well,
Zayn,
that's just
Cesaro.
crazy that
Nakamura,
he was regarded
Cesaro.
as one of the best
Yeah.
wrestlers in the world.
Sami Zayn had
Yeah.
a pretty solid year, but when he was there,
yeah, Sammy just was
but everyone
his year.
else, yeah.
So yeah, again, Nakamura was the man who got me into New Japan. His match with Kota Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom 9. So it was my first New Japan match. So I'll always have a soft spot for him. But that's a good pick. All right, we're gonna do worst segment and best segment, and then we are into our final 4 awards after that, boys.
Woo!
Which is all the big ones. So
Did
we're
we
gonna
do best cinematic match?
Yeah,
No,
we
I think
did that
skipped
earlier.
it.
I
Best
No, we did
cinematic.
worst. We skipped
No,
best.
we only did worst.
Yeah.
Oh, did not do best. Oh shit. Okay, we'll do best then because I completely forgot.
I've got breaking news.
Okay.
AEW just posted Brody Lee died.
What?
No.
They said rest in peace, John Huber, aka Brody Lee. Broken in industry filled with good people. John Huber
Oh my
was
God! Yeah,
exceptionally
Ryan's not
respected and
actually-
beloved in every way. Yeah, Brody, John Huber, aka Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper, has died.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
That was unexpected.
Yeah, wow, that's terrible news.
Something must have been wrong with him for a while then, because he's
Yeah, he had that.
Been
Because
off
he was
TV.
off TV for a very long time.
damn. That sucks.
Yeah, Jesus.
Definitely condolences to his family and damn. He seemed like a great guy.
Yeah, rest in peace. Dark Order will never be the same. And just again, I mean, again, he was having such a great 2020, and everybody's always regarded him as a great thing. There's always like the pictures from his time with WWE where there was like the guys in the Upper Club shirt. And yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
He must have been like sick then.
Yeah,
Maybe there was a complication with whatever injury he had, or
yeah, I don't know what it was. They were never really open about it. Yeah, Jesus. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
this went south.
That puts. I mean, at least Angelo got to go over his love and admiration for Brody Lee
That is
and
true.
Sam as well. So we did get to talk about Brody Lee a bit on this podcast tonight. So at least, I'm sure we'll talk about him more in the days to come. But yeah, this is just I don't. Yeah, it's very hard to continue after.
2020 had to really just so close to being over. It just really had to add something else to the year it's been.
Yeah, I don't even know. Rest in peace to Brody Lee. We were all very big fans, and I think he leaves behind a wife and at least one kid. I don't know if he had multiple children. I know he had at least one.
He had 2 kids, Brody and Nolan.
Pretty sure
well,
him and his
our
wife
hearts go-
had a child like last year.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's harsh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we should finish out the podcast and just move on before finishing up, rather than just stopping. So, condolences, thoughts, and prayers go out to Brody Lee's family, and everybody in AEW, friends, family, loved ones, and yeah. All right. So we were gonna do best cinematic match, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll start us off on this one. I'm going to go with the Stadium Stampede from AEW. Double or Nothing. Really good stuff. Enjoyable.
Quick
And it was
question: why didn't we group the worst and best together?
I completely forgot. Yeah, I knew I forgot that.
Well, we were gonna do the best first, and then Sam just gave us the worst.
That is true.
It's just like you did.
So
So yeah, Stadium Stampede. This was AEW's first attempt at the cinematic match. I thought they knocked it out of the park, and it was a nice escape from COVID life back in May. Obviously, we're still in it, but really enjoyable match between Inner Circle and the Elite and Matt Hardy. So yeah, Jake, what do you got?
So I didn't watch that many cinematic matches this year, so I went with the Boneyard match. I thought that was pretty cool. Had some fun superpower stuff. I don't know. It was one of like 2 matches I remember.
The Boneyard was on my short list.
Yeah. Okay. Angela, what do you got?
I'm going to go with John Cena versus the Fiend because that one was really cool.
Yeah. Sam.
It'll be the Stadium Stampede match. Double for Nothing.
Double for nothing.
Double for nothing.
Double for nothing.
That's what it said.
What up?
It's double or nothing.
Double for nothing.
Oh, I typed double for nothing. Okay.
It's okay, Sam. It's fine. You don't watch the product, right? It's fine.
Yeah. All right, Rob, what do you got?
Stadium Stampede. So many memorable spots in that. So much great pro wrestling and sports entertainment and all the above. Just great stuff in there. I loved every minute of it.
Joey?
I'm gonna also go with the Stadium Stampede. I just thought it was just, I've been kind of, very like tired of cinematic matches. And I kind of hope they just, disappear next year. In a way. But this one was really good, and I just thought, it had everything, and it wasn't just too much, and it had some cool spots, and yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, Ryan.
I'm trying to find what I put down for my best.
Pat, did you fall?
My best cinematic match stadium stamp. So I thought I did, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's do best segment and then worst segment, and then we got our final awards. So best segment, Jake, what do you got?
So this wasn't like really a segment, but this was definitely the best wrestling moment of the year. I put down MJF, fuck the kids.
Do you want to explain that for anybody who might not know what you're talking about?
So earlier this
God.
year, earlier this year, a kid tried to like get MJF to sign something. He flipped them off, and there's a big freak out, and it was like MJF was like really like all in his character this time, and someone like asked him about it, and he was just like, "Fuck the kids" on Twitter, and it was probably the greatest wrestling moment of the year.
There you
His
go.
tweets are pretty incredible, I must say.
Yeah,
He
I would
is
have-
full kayfabe.
I would have to agree. Ryan, what do you got?
My best segment was Wrestler's Court, the boys versus Johnny Swinger. Fantastic segment.
Yeah.
Please go look it up.
I'm just gonna volunteer myself to go next because mine is also Wrestler's Court, featuring Johnny Swinger. I mean, that thing is incredible. Tommy Dreamer leads the show there, and it's good stuff. Includes D'Lo Brown as well.
Okay.
DeLorean Brown, baby.
Sam, what do you got for best segment?
Now I know that we already did cinematic matches, but I segment match it's a mixture of both. It's John Cena versus The Fiend, WrestleMania, because I didn't want to not put it on any top list because it's great. The fact that they pulled those, like WWE recognized all of his old characters, and it's great. I love it.
That's fair.
It broke the barrier a lot. It felt like, even with it's such
it's
good
not-
shit comment. Yeah.
100%.
Who do I still need to go to? I need Joey, Rob, and me. Okay, so Joey, you just got back on here. So what do you? What's your best segment?
I know, I know. I'm just gonna not worry. Not, you know what? Fuck the rules. I'm going anytime that John Silver was on BTE. Yeah, that's my best thing. I just really couldn't think of anything else.
Ooh.
You know what? I can't even be mad at you, especially with the news we just got about Brody Lee. I think everybody will look back fondly at his time with John Silver on BTE, and their interactions on Dynamite. So, yeah, I think it's fitting for this. Rob, what did you have for best segment?
Mine is actually more of a moment. It is during the street fight on Dynamite. I think it was in like May when Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega run over Sammy Guevara with the golf cart. That was my best segment of the year. Absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
Iconic.
Mine, my runner-up would be Le Dinner Debonair, which was MJF and Chris Jericho breaking out into song and dance, singing "My Shadow and Me" by Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. Big fan of musicals, so kind of right up my alley. But my other option was going to be Brody Lee's TNT Championship celebration following his win over Cody when he squashed him, and so that's what I'm going with. It was such a surreal moment to see Brody come out with Dark Order, carrying the casket, doing the Ugandan pallbearers gimmick where they were just carrying the casket, dancing, putting it out, putting a Nightmare Family flag on it, and then 10 comes out of the casket. Brody comes out, talks about how he bought like 10 riding lawnmowers, which was a reference to BT. John Silver's there. They officially dub Anna Jay number 99 of the Dark Order. And yeah, it was just a really fun segment. It highlighted the different shades of the Dark Order, where they could be comedic, but then Brody could come in and just be the serious straight man of the group, who's just like this very like terrifying boss man who whips his members into shape. So really good segment there, and it was a nice time with all of Dark Order. So I'm taking that for my segment of the year. And then we're going to go over to worst segment of the year, which I'm interested in what everybody chose for this one. And I'll start us off on this one. I chose The Fiend single-handedly takes out Retribution by himself 1 week after Mustafa Ali became the leader of the group. And once again, this is one man taking on a group of, 4 or 5 people. And again, Mustafa Ali had just became the leader of the group. So just very questionable looking. So I'm taking The Fiend taking out Retribution. Jake, what do you got?
I have the first ever SmackDown Karaoke Showdown.
Yeah,
You mean that's best segment, right?
Do you want me to explain this for the people who don't watch the content?
That's fair.
Yeah, so one of the Usos did a segment where he asked 4 women's wrestlers to sing their own theme songs, and they were all awful. It was pretty great to watch, but it was probably the worst thing I've seen all year.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. It was genuinely just absolutely awful. So, yeah. Angela, what do you got for us?
Mine's just very general, I feel like, but I put Raw Underground just kind of being a thing for a month or whatever, and then just disappearing. Shane McMahon's big new invention and just fizzling out like most things they do in WWE now. So,
All right. Sam, what do you got for worst segment?
I don't know if anyone remembers this. It was in January. The specific one happened January 31st on SmackDown. You guys remember when Roman Reigns was feuding with King Corbin?
for the millionth time.
Nope,
Okay.
I don't remember.
You remember
that.
what happened back then, guys? Yeah, that's when
Roman Reigns
rolls out his dog food.
Oh,
King Corbin. That's where they covered him in dog food. And Roman Reigns said the classic line to King Corbin, "What do you say, fetish boy?"
I like it.
He said that. They were standing on the ramp. King Corbin was on the ramp with Ziggler and Rude. And it was the Usos and Reigns in the ring, and Reigns has the mic, and he's just like, what do you say, fetish boy?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right, Rob, what do you got for us?
All right, this is more recency bias because I don't remember like anything in wrestling that happened this year. But it was really awful on a train wreck. It was a pretty recent Dynamite, and Cody was out there cutting a promo, and then out comes some woman we've never seen before, and it's Jade Cargill, and she starts cutting like the worst promo ever about Shaq, and then Brandy comes out and starts cutting a really awkward promo on her. It was just a train wreck. It was really bad. Cody is usually one of the best things on Dynamite, but this was not one of those times. And it's not his fault, but Jesus, this was awful. I don't even know. Is this leading to like Cody versus Shaq or something?
Well, my assumption it was going
Shaq Diesel.
Again, my assumption it was going to be leading to a mixed tag with Shaq and Jade versus Brandy and Cody, but then they announced that that Brandy was pregnant, so that definitely won't be happening.
True. Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, congrats to them. That's probably I'd rather that's better than that match probably. So.
Yeah,
You're probably not
definitely a
wrong.
better result.
But we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I agree that promo she cut was not that great. Joey, what do you got?
I also got the SmackDown karaoke.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need to add anything. Ryan?
No.
Yeah, I also had the SmackDown karaoke as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did just send a update on the cause of death for Brody. His wife posted that he's been battling a non-COVID related lung issue for a while, and that he finally succumbed to it.
So, yeah.
So I don't know how long it's been, but like if he's like just dealt with it for years, or like it was just diagnosed because of the dog collar match and like the injuries or things like that, or what. But yeah.
All right. Let us go over to our. We'll do top 3 females and then top 3 males. So top 3 females. Jake, who did you choose for your top 3 females?
So I really don't like follow female wrestling outside of WWE, and even then, it's not very good. So I put Sasha Banks because she's always great. Rhea Ripley, who got her WrestleMania moment this year, which I thought
And
was
she
pretty
lost.
cool. And I wrote the Iconics. Before you guys informed me that they broke up.
Good. That's what we like to hear. All right. Angela, what do you got for me?
I got number 3, Hikaru Shida. Number 2, Bailey. And number 1, Asuka. Or Asuka.
Okay. Respectable list. Sam?
So like I didn't want to be that guy that just pulls all the 3 females and from the same promotion. So
I'm that guy.
Side of the box here. So from TNA Impact Wrestling, I picked Jordan Grace. From AEW, I picked Abaddon. And from WWE, I picked Asuka.
Okay.
I think Sabu would disagree with your list.
Fucking Sabu, man.
Yeah. Sabu.
Rob.
Well, I think number 3, Sasha Banks. She finally got her championship win and was able to defend successfully for the first time in her career.
True.
And plus, outside the ring, she was on The Mandalorian, which is pretty sick. Good for her. Great job. Well done. Cool. Next is Asuka. A fantastic year. Definitely one of the MVPs of the COVID era. But I think it's criminal that this wrestler has not been named number 1 yet, and it's Bailey. Bailey has been my favorite wrestler of the year, I think, out of anybody. So Bailey.
Bailey.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll go next. My number 3 was Thunder Rosa. I hadn't really heard of her before she made her impact in AEW, and since then she's been really impressive in all of her showings. My number 2 would be Sasha Banks. Again, don't really need to go on about that. Everybody kind of has stated that she's great. And my number 1 would be Io Shirai. I still think she's probably, outside of Charlotte Flair, she's probably the best female wrestler in the world, and one of the top wrestlers in the world in ring capabilities wise. So those are my 3 women's picks. Joey, who do you got?
I actually have the same as Rob and the same order as well. So Sasha at 3, Asuka at 2, and Bailey at 1. I think Bailey and Sasha as a duo have been phenomenal. I do think that Bailey is just a little bit like a 1 step above her.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I think she's just the better wrestler and the better heel.
She's a better character.
Better character, yeah. And then I mean, obviously you can't deny what Asuka has done this year either. Or she's one of the best wrestlers in the world as well. So yeah.
Fair enough. Ryan?
Yeah. So mine would be number 3, Sheeta, Garter Sheeta. I thought the beginning of the year and like the beginning of COVID era, I thought she was on fire with just knocking it out of the park. It helped that she was one of the only women that was in the title scene that was still there for most of it. And I think, like as I've said before, she's probably my favorite woman on the AEW roster. Number 2, I had Bailey because I thought her heel work was just fantastic, and she was a really good champ. Um, and number 1, I have Deonna Purrazzo because she's finally getting eyes on her outside of like just her being a jobber in WWE. She has had very strong matches with Jordan Grace, and I think that like this is just the beginning, and her work throughout the year since she's joined Impact has been phenomenal. And yeah,
Speaking of women's wrestling, I have it on good authority that there's going to be a prominent female wrestler debuting at the 2021 Royal Rumble, and that is Tessa Blanchard. So you heard it here first.
Yeah?
Why do you
I'm
say that?
probably wrong.
Are you Tessa
Hmm?
Blanchard?
Yeah,
You're
Wait,
totally
why do you say that?
I have it on good authority.
I wouldn't be shook.
Yeah, Dave Meltzer texted him right now.
Yeah. See,
Um,
Dave Meltzer.
Dave Meltzer. All right, let's do our top 3 males, and then we come down to the big award, which is best and worst match of the year. So we'll see what gets that honor. So our top 3 males. Sam, you get to start us off, buddy.
No, I didn't do the same as my other female predictions, and I don't put them in order. I just say 3. So they are Orange Cassidy, Drew McIntyre, and Matt Hardy. Honestly, I would give number 1 to Matt Hardy because he constantly pushes himself, no matter what promotion he's in. Now he's been in 3 in the past, 4 years, 3 years. Especially that crazy bump he took. When it was off the scissor lift, and then
We'll get back to that.
yeah,
We'll be back to that later.
Oh boy, I know where
yeah,
that's going.
he continued the match. So and that's coming from WWE. Like it's crazy. He's a madman. Great.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Ryan, who do you have for top 3 males?
All right. So top 3 males. I have Tetsuya Naito as number 3. I thought that he was very good. Uh, John Moxley at number 2. Um, he really held down the fort in AEW, and he's had like basically really good feud after really good feud. But number 1 is Hiromu Takahashi, the Time Bomb of New Japan and the junior division. I thought he really excelled in the New Japan Cup. He really excelled in Best of Super Juniors. He even got himself a world title shot as a junior, which is pretty impressive. Um, yeah, and he also like I feel like there's not a lot of character work that he needs to put through to be crazy. He like just his look and everything does that, but his character work when Evil turned on Naito is still probably one of the best moments of the year in New Japan, in my opinion. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Joey.
Yeah, I'm gonna go at number 3 with Cody Rhodes. I think that week after week, he had nothing but solid uh, defenses for the TNT title, and there was for the longest time that was like my favorite part of Dynamite. and it introduced us to Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston. Well, me personally. So I thought he killed it all year. Number two, I'm gonna go with Kenny Omega from his time with Page to the most recently with him just his huge heel turn that like shook the wrestling world with Don Callis and the whole Impact partnership. And then number one, I'm going to go John Moxley. I think personally, I think there hasn't been a better wrestler this year than John Moxley. I feel like feud after feud after feud, this man delivered, not only in the ring but on the mic. And he was a fighting champion, and that's what you love to see. And I think he was hands down wrestler of the year.
Yeah. I'm going to go with number three for me being Kenny Omega. Obviously, he started off the year and spent the majority of it as a tag team wrestler, then broke off, had the great match with, or had the great showing in the AEW Eliminator Tournament, the great match with Page in the finals of Full Gear, and then the great match with Moxley where him and Callis stole the championship. And now we're getting, I mean, I don't know what AEW is going to look like this Wednesday now with the Brody Lee news. I'm assuming it's going to be a tribute to him on the show in some capacity, but we do have the announced main event is Omega and Phoenix for the AEW Championship. So if that match happens as scheduled and there isn't like some big change since
Oh
obviously
yeah, I forgot they're having a big. They're supposed to have a big show this week.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll see if that happens. But um, then Omega would finish off the year strong, most likely since him and Phoenix have rebuilt chemistry. My number two would be Hiromu Takahashi in New Japan. Hiromu's great, pretty incapable of having a bad match. Had a great run in the New Japan Cup as the junior to go pretty far, to go the distance with Okada, not tapping out. Then obviously he had the feud with Ishimori, and then had his run in the Best of Super Juniors tournament and the great finals match with Desperado. And my number one would be John Moxley. I mean, the man carried AEW through the pandemic era and had some pretty great title defense. Who else do I have to still go to? It's Rob and Jake. All right. Who wants to go first? All
Rob, you
right,
can
Rob.
go. Oh, and Angelo too.
Yeah.
Oh, and Angelo still? Okay, all right. Rob, Angelo, and then Jake. That'll be the order.
For me, number three is actually a tie, my only tie. It is Roman Reigns and Tetsuya Naito. Both of them had, COVID shortened years, so they lose some points for that. But in those years, especially, Naito had his great year finally. He did lose the title for a little bit there in the summer, but he got it back. And he was one of the MVPs of the G1 for sure. So loved his work this year. And Roman Reigns has just been on a whole nother level since coming back at what was it, SummerSlam, and he's been doing the best work of his career. So he's been absolutely killing it. John Moxley at number two, like everyone said, one of the MVPs of the whole COVID era, the whole year for all of wrestling. Some of his matches, actually, I feel like I missed. I feel like I had to work like every other AEW pay per view, but still, from what I saw, his promo work and all his matches were really good. And number one for me is Drew McIntyre. I just really enjoyed what he did this year. Every match I've seen has been really, really good from him, and he's really carried himself like a champion. And just from where he was this time last year, he's elevated himself so much more than that level that I got to give him number one.
All right, Angelo.
I would like to precurse mine with it's a shame that I don't watch the WWE product so much because the roster is filled with a lot of people that I think are very talented, and a lot of the reason why I still enjoy wrestling, like Morrison, Miz, Randy Orton. So there's just a lot of people I'm not seeing wrestle very often, at least in the second half of 2020. So number three, I'm going with Cody Rhodes. I don't need to explain. Joey did a good job there. Number two, Drew McIntyre, because at least I got to see his title win at WrestleMania and a little bit that followed after, as well as what happened at Royal Rumble. And then number one, John Moxley. He carried most of the year with the belt on AEW. So takes number one for me.
All right. Solid list. Jake, you get to round us on out on this one, buddy.
All right. So for number 3, I have Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Even outside the ring, he never ceases to make me smile. Number 2,
That's a
I have
good
Orange.
pick. Not lie.
Number 2 is Orange Cassidy. Always puts on really great matches, and I think he does have like one of the best gimmicks ever. And for number 1, I have Stardust / Commander Sterling / Champion Regent Sterling from Rise Pro Wrestling. You didn't think Rise Pro Wrestling would make it in the awards today, did you?
Shout out Jim Sterling. Shout out
Jim Sterling, YouTube game reviewer, moved to Philadelphia to wrestle for. Was it Chikara, the one that had like a bunch of drama at the beginning of the year?
Yeah,
Yes.
Chikara.
Yeah, I ended up going to Rise. He emceed an LGBTQ pay-per-view that was going to make my number 1, but I couldn't find the name of it. And he's had a really cool year. So shout out to Jim Sterling.
Brunch, wasn't it, or something?
What?
The pay-per-view name? Wasn't it like Big Gay Brunch or something like that?
It was something like
Effie's
that. Like in someone's backyard.
Yeah, Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Shout out to Jim Sterling. He makes it onto the podcast.
Hey, speaking of Jim Sterling, Cultaholic just released a video with him today.
I saw that. They did go straight to hell with Jim Sterling. And he was in
Yeah.
his Stardust character. All right, so we're down to the final 2 awards, everybody. If you've made it through this podcast, I commend you. It is a behemoth. And also pretty taxing emotionally, as you got to witness our live reactions to the passing of, specifically Angela, one of your favorite wrestlers. All right, last 2 awards. We got best and worst match. We'll do worst first and say best for last. I'll start us off. Worst match of the year by far. Super Showdown, the mountain. I don't remember what the name of the mountain was, but the Mountain Gauntlet match with R-Truth, Bobby Lashley looking like they concussed each other, AJ Styles dancing, Eric Rowan DQing himself, and then The Undertaker coming in, just walking in, choke slamming AJ while still fully dressed, and winning the match off a choke slam, and then walking out, not taking the trophy with him. What a waste of like half an hour that was. Truly one of the worst things in wrestling, as far as a match goes. Ryan, what do you got?
Remember when me and Rob did an NXT review once? I remember that.
Oh my God. No, not this.
It was on June 17th. And that night had the worst wrestling match, not just of the year. I'm putting it as my worst wrestling match that I've ever seen. It is Xia Li versus Aaliyah with Robert Stone throwing up in the middle of the match for no apparent reason. On the June 17th episode of NXT, it's pointless. There's no point to it. Aaliyah is real bad. Xia Li's real bad. Aaliyah then attacks Xia Li after she pinned her, angrily that she did that, and I have no idea why. And Robert Stone threw up in the ring for no reason.
I miss when we used to do the split shows when 2 of us would review 2 and 2 would do the other.
Weekly NXT killed me. The string
Oh,
that me
it's
and got,
still pretty good.
the string that me and Joey got was so bad with the DQ finishes and everything. There was the one episode that had 3 DQ finishes on one show.
There were some pretty rough dynamites in there too. It's okay.
You guys got stuck with the bad dynamites where it was all shot at the Nightmare Factory with no crowd, and it was just a very limited roster.
Yeah.
So, I don't blame you. All right, Rob, you're up next. I'll go to you.
Mine, as I sort of hinted at before, is the Broken Rules match between Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy from AEW All Out. I mean, it's not 100% their faults, I guess, but these two have the worst kind of chemistry because they basically just tried to destroy each other in a bad way. They actually actively tried to injure each other to try and entertain the fans, I guess, but it just was too much. And this match was the worst of it because Matt Hardy, very early on, maybe 2 minutes into the match, fell off of a forklift or something like that, and missed the table and hit the back of his head on the concrete. and then they decided to continue the match. And Matt Hardy, with most likely a concussion, continued the match and finished the match and jumped off like scaffolding. So really, yeah, not good stuff. And the end result was not worth it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Sam, what do you got?
So my worst match of the year is the Money in the Bank 2020 match. Well, we all know really why. I think that they could have done a lot more with what they had, going to the top of the building. There's way more cool things they could have done, but it was all these weird spots, and obviously ended in two people getting thrown off a building, and Otis winning the Money in the Bank to do absolutely nothing with it.
So you didn't enjoy the food fight or the really bad Doink the Clown or any of that stuff?
Who is that? Was that Doink that was just randomly behind a chair, or what?
It was like the worst looking Doink the Clown I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
What about when was it Dana Brooke or Carmella who pulled the Money in the
Oh,
Bank
was Dana Brooke.
briefcase in the middle of a damn conference room and like celebrated like she won the whole thing, even though it was clearly told that it was on the roof of the building?
Yep,
Ah,
that was Dana Brooke.
so funny.
Or when
I
two
mean,
men
that match
were
was
thrown off
awful.
the top of the building and then showed up the next night?
Yeah, they probably should have sold that for at least another day or two.
Yeah, that's fair.
What
was that? What did you say, Joey?
I said, or forever.
Oh, or forever, Jesus. Okay, all right. Angelo.
Just died.
Hey, my worst wrestling match of the year is Goldberg versus The Fiend. That's super, super, super showdown.
That's probably one of the best you could pick.
Yeah.
I'll go in because I also chose Goldberg versus The Fiend. I think it was 3 spears long, and Goldberg has my worst match of the year 2 years in a row. Stop letting him wrestle.
Yeah.
Never. He's got 2 more matches. Or no, sorry. I think he's got like 2 or 3 more years on his contract with 2 matches per year.
Yeah, he said that
Yeah.
his contract ends in either 2022 or 2023. He doesn't know, but he's got 2 appearances per year.
He could
They're
do
gonna
2
find him-
appearances per year. The problem is winning a belt, then losing a belt, winning a belt, then losing a belt. And like
Or I'm sorry,
Also-
not 2 appearances, it's 2 matches per year. My bad.
Okay.
He squashed The Fiend at like the height of The Fiend.
Right.
Like,
For no reason.
yeah.
All I'm gonna say, guys, is if I'm a betting man, I think Bill Goldberg is your 2021 Royal Rumble winner.
Hey man, me and Rob and Sam talked about this the other night on Xbox, where we said that Goldberg can win the Rumble. That's his first match. Goes to Mania, he loses. There you go.
Oh no, who said
No,
he's losing?
thank you.
Who said he's losing?
Oh, he's
Goldberg
gonna
doesn't-
win and then have a year-long reign.
matches.
I hope.
He's
I
gonna
hope.
bury McIntyre to take his
No,
title.
he's gonna take the title off Roman. He's gonna end Roman Reigns' heel run.
Oh, he's
all right.
definitely
Babyface
gonna
Bill.
if he wins it, he's definitely going after Roman.
Yeah. All right, Joey, what do you got for me, buddy?
Yeah, I'm also gonna go with the Fiend versus Goldberg. And it's not really about the match itself. It's actually about what it meant and the booking decision. How it, the Fiend was so hot at that point, and to take the title off of him from 50-plus-year-old Bill Goldberg just kind of made no sense. And yeah, you can't really defend that. Damn
Yeah.
shame.
Fair
He
point.
has a lot of what got me disinterested in the WWE product this year. How they handled that.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, on the bright side, at least the Fiend losing that title did give us the Fiend and Cena at Mania.
Yeah.
But it's not like WWE knew that they were gonna not have a Mania in front of people at that point because the pandemic hadn't hit yet. So, yeah, the fact that they were still willing to sacrifice the Fiend for Goldberg, it raises some questions.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, I'm going to give it to you as Deep Six champion. You get to give us your first match of the year, or you get to do the first match of the year since we
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it will finally be my turn now. You're
Yeah.
not gonna say. You're not gonna come up with a totally different category that says that you're gonna start with.
Yeah.
So
match-
best match of the year, right? That's the last one.
This is the last one.
So this is just my personal belief, obviously. I'm gonna go with the parking lot fight on AEW Dynamite between the Best Friends and Proud and Powerful.
That's so
I think
good.
this is really, really good. And I can't remember the last time there was like a really, really good parking lot brawl. The one I can think of is I'm pretty sure it was Eddie Guerrero versus John Cena back on SmackDown, like 10 plus years ago. But yeah, I thought this was really, really good. The ending was also really creative with Orange Cassidy coming out of the trunk or whatever, and yeah, I just thought it was a good match.
Yeah, fair enough. Sam, what do you got? Best match of the year.
My best match was a tag match. It was the Kenny Omega and Adam Page versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championship at AEW Revolution.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's it.
Jake.
So a match that you guys probably haven't thought about all year. I chose Drew Gulak versus Daniel Bryan at the Chamber.
Okay.
I was there. That was a fantastic match.
We really don't get enough technical matches in really any of the shows. So I think, and Gulak got one of his first pay-per-view moments. So I thought that was a really cool thing. They should do more technical matches. Just there's no one who really matches with Gulak the way that Bryan does.
Yeah, that is a fair point. Sadly, they're on different shows now.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, best match of the year.
This might be the first of many, but it's Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus the Bucks at Revolution. I think somebody said it earlier, but
Sam
this
said
match.
it. You're not.
Yeah,
You're not.
well, it is now. I'm the first person to say it. This is probably one of the best tag matches I've seen ever. And it makes sense. These guys are four really good friends. They've worked together before as teammates, so they already know how to each other work. And they've traveled the world together, and it made sense that they had such a great match. And there were some great storyline implications. I kind of wish that we were able to see either a heel Page and Omega versus a face Bucks, or heel Bucks versus face Page and Omega that led to Omega turning heel or something like that. But other than that, this was a very fantastic match.
Rob.
Mine is Kazuchika Okada and Kota Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom 14 Night 1. Just fantastic wrestling. One of my first real New Japan pay-per-view matches I saw, so definitely that helped hook me on the product.
Okay, fair enough. Angelo.
I'll go with the greatest match ever, Orton versus Edge. Why not?
Well, you're talking about the Backlash match or the Mania match?
No, the one that was titled the greatest match ever, Backlash.
Greatest wrestling match ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sure.
Enough. And I'll close this out here. I am taking Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Tetsuya Naito from the second night of the G1 Climax. The near falls in this match were phenomenal. Chef's kiss. This was everything I want in a wrestling match, and then some. So that would be my match of the year. So yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
We did it. It took us 2 hours and 15 minutes, but we have gotten through the first ever year-end Deep Six Award, or as I titled our Skype session, the Deep Six End of the Year Butt Party.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us.
Oh, I just realized that.
Yeah. So this is the first ever video podcast we're doing. We might do more of these in the future. But this will be on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this, I mean, it's too late, but it's on our YouTube channel. And if you aren't subscribed to our podcast, be sure to do that. All of the links you need are in the episode description, so you'll find links to our Twitter, Facebook. I'll probably just copy and paste it from Anchor.
Is that
so
Legends of Wrestling too?
what?
Yes, it is. I just want to give a shout out to Legends of Wrestling 2 for still being the worst wrestling game of all time. Thank you.
Okay, there you
I
go.
have that
Wrestling
on the
too.
GameCube, signed by Nikolai Volkov.
Oh,
Yeah.
What a
that's
weird
better.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find our the podcast on Anchor, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, and Overcast. So plenty of options. Listen to it. Follow us. We always have our Impact reviews with Ryan and Angelo. Me and Joey have officially taken over the Dynamite podcast. Maybe one day Rob will make his glorious return. And Sam
Wait,
occasionally
promote the new
shows-
name. Promote the new
Oh, sorry.
name.
The Dynamic Dynamite review, that is Joey's name that he came up with for us. We needed one to match Ryan and Angelo's Impact Power Hour. Sam occasionally makes appearances throughout the year whenever there's pay-per-view. And maybe Jake will eventually make appearances if he ever decides to become a wrestling fan.
All you have to do is ask, and I'll show up. I'll watch the product.
Yeah, okay, all right. So maybe Jake will make appearances on the podcast more. But that was our big year-end podcast. It was just Christmas, so Merry Christmas, Merry Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa from everybody here at Deep Six, whatever
Oh,
you
happy
celebrate.
Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day.
It is
for
Boxing Day, yeah.
the U.S. You won't hear from a lot of us before the new year. Me and Joey will be back next Wednesday, most likely with a Dynamite review, depending on, I mean, whatever it is, we'll have a podcast, whether it's a tribute show or New Year's Smash Night 1. I'm sure AEW will make an announcement on what's going on.
I'm sure it will be an emotional show.
Yeah. Ryan and Angela's Impact Power Hour will return in the new year, since next week is just another clip show for them. And then, New Japan, we will have predictions and reviews for Wrestle Kingdom at the beginning of January. So we still have plenty of content coming after this long podcast episode. I still don't think this is our longest podcast we've ever done. I feel like we
No,
definitely...
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy that we've
It's
done
got to
one.
be
Yeah,
up there.
This is definitely
I think-
up there, but I think we had like a 2.5-hour one.
The releases, the WWE releases one, I was on that, and that was,
yeah, that one was long as shit.
that was yeah.
Well, one of the WrestleMania ones was really long too. I think both of them were.
Yeah.
True.
True.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us. We're gonna go one by one here. Everybody can say their goodbyes. Sam, you can go first if you want to have the last word.
I just want to again reiterate, shout out to Legends of Wrestling. Number 2 goes to TNA Impact for the PS2 and PSP. And finally, number 3 is WWE Crush Hour. Thank you.
You've got 2K18
You
for
definitely
the
played all
Nintendo
those together.
Switch.
Oh yeah, 2K18 for the Switch.
I've played that as well.
All right, Rob, you want to say goodbye?
Yeah. Shout out to Christine Applegate. And you probably heard my voice and all our voices too much tonight. So maybe I'll be back soon. For now, goodbye.
Angelo.
I bought that TNA game for $20, and then that was the only game my life that I ever returned to GameStop. Sold it back to them for $2.
There it
Is it
is.
back?
Oh, it gone. There it is again. Terrible.
Yeah, I didn't have the patience to be suicide in story mode.
No.
So,
All
but,
right.
thanks for listening. Condolences to Brody V's family and the people that knew him.
Yeah. Jake, this was your first appearance on the podcast. How would you rate your experience, buddy?
I would rate it a Monday Night Raw out of 10.
Oh God, knowing your opinions on WWE, I don't think that's good.
I've had to go to the bathroom this whole time. But if you want me back, tweet at Deep Six Wrestling and tell Pat what show you want me to watch. Maybe
we need Jake doing Raw reviews.
maybe we'll do Raw reviews. We'll do me, Rob, and Sam
That would be
as the WWE fanboys.
Oh my God.
And Joey. And
Yes.
Joey, 'cause he watches Raw every week.
Yeah, Joey watches Raw. He just doesn't, and he records reviews. He just doesn't send them to us. All right, Ryan. No, I said Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come on, Joey, learn your name.
Yeah, fire Josh Matthews. Bye.
I'll let Joey have the last word since he's our Deep Six champion currently. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you tuning in either visually with our YouTube podcast or on any of the streaming services. So for me, have a happy holidays and a happy new year if you don't hear from us. So Joey, up to you, buddy. You can sign us off.
Yeah, just want to say everyone stay safe. I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday. And to you, Angelo, if you beat me in our fantasy football championship, I will gift you the Deep Six championship.
I like that.
You
What
gotta get it back first, buddy.
end of the year
No,
break
no,
statement?
that's a total joke. That would be against everything because it's not wrestling related. Sorry.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody, once again. We'll be back next week with our Dynamite review, and then following that, the Wrestle Kingdom predictions reviews, and then everything will get back to normal in the swing of our schedule with Impact, Dynamite, and then New Japan whenever. So thanks for listening. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you next time.
I'll take Jake will never be the hot take champion. Bye.